Welcome to the Two Guys in a Cooler channel. My name's Eric, and today we got a really interesting video for you. I found a folder on my computer that had some videos that were never published, made about a year ago. And here's a question for you. Would you like me to publish those videos in their entirety? The videos are about how to make different really crazy flavors of salami. Or do you just want me to publish the short reactions that my son and I have as we taste each flavor? Because the process of making salami is actually quite similar between salamis, as you'll see in this video. Click that link in the top right hand corner if you want a really in-depth look at salami. But let's take you through this process, and be sure to comment as to which one you want. Right now we're preparing our Penicillium nalgiavensis, and that's our mold that's going to cover the outside of the salami, helping raise the pH and helping it dry. And as that is hydrating, I'm going to go ahead and prepare my meat. Now notice my meat and my fat are separate. So whatever my recipe calls for in meat and then fat, I just add it together. And now I'm going to grind it. Now here's where you can really have fun with salami. Depending on how you grind your meat, you can really affect the texture. You can grind it through larger plates, and then smaller plates you can grind your meat and fat together, or you can grind your meat and fat separate to get more of a marbled look. Lots of different ways and lots of different results. And so when you make salami, if you make salami, you should experiment with different ways and find out which one works for you and which one you like better. And so all we're doing is we're taking our very chilled meat. Now the meat is probably at around 38 degrees, and we're grinding it. And we want to make sure that we put it back in the freezer. The thing is we don't want our fat to melt, and we don't want to get our meat too hot. So now we're going to go ahead and prepare our starter culture. I'm using BLC 007. Another popular starter culture is TSPX. I like BLC 007 because I can get to that right pH pretty quick. And it gives me added benefits, bacterias, protection, color, odor, things like that. I just happen to like the way that it works. But if you have a particular starter culture that you use, make sure that you use the right amount. Once you have your starter cultures mixed in some water, and like I said, recipe below, all the details will have it. Rinse your casing, whether it's going to be synthetic or whether it's going to be natural. Now, here's something you can think about. You can technically put that mold 600 in the water that your casing is going to be soaking in, and that way it's already inoculated, and maybe it'll save you a step later on. You might end up having to use more, but potato, potato, right? Actually, that's not a good example of potato, potato. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to go ahead and mix my meat. My meat is cold. I have it in a stand mixer, so you could use a KitchenAid, or you could use you could use your hands. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and add my wine, and I'm going to add all my seasonings. And my seasonings for this is really simple. Salt, sugar, pepper. I've got some dextrose. I've got some non-fat powdered milk, and then of course I've got sun-dried tomatoes. For this recipe, we're also using cure number 2 because this is going to hang for about 2 months. And I'm just going to mix it. At this point, I'm adding my starter culture, and we're just going to mix it until it's ready. Now, in a stand mixer, it happens pretty quick. Rewind the video because look, you can definitively notice a texture change between when you first start and when you finish. It's really sticky, really tacky, and if you put it in your hand, it's going to stick to your hand. And so now all we're going to do is we're going to load up our casings, and it's pretty straightforward. Prick your casing on the end so that any air comes out. You want to pack that thing as tight as you possibly can. In this case, I think I'm using a 74 millimeter casing, which holds about 4.5 pounds. Once you're done stuffing your casing, you want to remove any of that extra meat that you have in your stuffer and wrap that in cellophane. That's what you're going to use to test your pH later on. Just wrap it up, set it to the side, and if you're doing multiple varieties, just write the variety on the saran wrap, and then you're good to go. So be sure to prick your salami casings as well as weigh them and tag them and write it all down. I'm doing 9 different varieties in this particular step. That was black garlic. This is blue cheese, walnut, cranberry. Obviously, right now we're doing sun-dried tomato. And as the very last thing I'm going to do, this is right before we go to ferment, I'm going to go ahead and brush the mold 600 all over them. That's the Penicillium nalgiavensis. All right, now we want to ferment our salami. So basically, we're going to be putting it in a refrigerator at 68 degrees Fahrenheit with roughly about an 85% humidity. And all we want to do is we want to create an environment where the bacteria or that starter culture can thrive. Now, different starter cultures thrive at different levels, so just make sure that you read the one that you're using, and if you have a question, you can always leave it in the comment section below. But ours is going to really thrive anywhere between 65 to 70 degrees and high humidity. So that's my temperature probe. Back there, that's my humidity probe. And we're going to leave it in there until the pH drops. What I'm looking for is anywhere between 5.1 to 5.3. In about 36 hours, we're going to test it, and we should be pretty close. I think I've got this particular bacteria on lock. All right, and so here's what we're going to do. That's the extra meat that we had. We're going to put all that in the chamber, and we're now going to test it. It's now 36 hours later. You know, with the advantage of hindsight, I realized that there's one particular thing I should have done differently. Wine has a lot of sugar, and what I should have done was lowered the amount of dextrose. As you can see here, 36 hours into it, I'm at 4.94, and that's a little lower than where I want to be. And technically, it's not that big of a deal, but I do lose the advantage of some of the bacteria, which tend to stay active at about 5. Now, fortunately, the addition of Mold 600 is going to raise that pH, but it's definitely something to consider and to watch out for in the future. Okay, now that we've hit our pH, sort of, and trust me, it's not that big a deal. 1 point, 1.5 points, it'll recover in the drying chamber as that Mold 600 starts to take over. We're going to put it in a 55-degree Fahrenheit with 80% humidity for roughly 60 to 80 days. I'm going to let it get to about 40% weight loss. And let me show you what this looked like once we tested it out.
Okay, this is probably my favorite part of making salami.
The tasting. This is always going to be.
It's ridiculous. Look how beautiful. Hello.
That's a bit wiggly for a dried salami.
Is this supposed to do that?
I don't think it's completely dry yet.
It's totally not completely dry, and so it's definitely beautiful though. Wow,
the colors are wonderful. What percentage did we take this out at? Was it at 30?
You know, it said 40%, but I bet you the additional wine, so we probably should have left it in there a little bit longer. But you know what?
Tomato still counts as a fruit, right?
It's totally good at 30%, and this looks like, truthfully, it's probably at about 30%.
Yeah, you can typically eat these sausages anywhere from 30% to 45 if you like it extremely wet or extremely dry.
That is
that's
appetizing.
Moist. That's moist. That's a real moist salami right there.
You know, I don't have the stomach for a gooey salami.
I just figured out what this looks like.
What does it look like?
Yeah, you remember that scene from Star Wars where Anakin got turned into Darth Vader?
That's after he was burnt up?
Yeah, it looks like we took his leg and just cured it. Yeah, that's exactly what this looks like.
It's a burnt up Anakin. All right, so this is really on the more simple of all the wacky sausages. This is just sun-dried tomatoes and pepper and wine. But man, it's soft. Really, I think we should have left it in a little bit longer. So you know what? Let's give this thing... we're going to cut from the end because we know that's a little more dry.
Yeah.
This is probably about kind of where I want it.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and take a look at this little thing. What are you thinking about? What do you think about when you look at it?
I think the colors are amazing. I like the little specks of the white and the fat and the.
I love the way it smells. Look at that. The texture's really nice.
It smells fantastic. It actually smells a little bit more like tomatoes than I thought it would.
Let me see what's happening with this thing.
I'm gonna give it a bite. Ooh, interesting.
That's kind of nice. I'm not getting so much of the sun-dried tomato, but I'm getting a lot of the. I'm getting a lot of the wine. I'm getting some acidity. I think because the pH was so low, I'm definitely getting a little bit of tanginess. I gotta taste this raw section. Like this is literally, this goes against everything that I stand for. What I'm about to do right here, but you know what? For the sake of charcuterie, look at that. Isn't that appetizing?
Oh, it's so nice.
How are you doing? I just want to eat that.
I think I'm gonna have to let you do this one on your own. I can't venture that far with you.
It's totally good. It's totally ready to eat. I'm gonna split it with you. What do you think?
Oh gosh, I think
let's do this.
I don't think I can do it, man.
I'm gonna go. All right, here it is. Oh my gosh, that's hard to eat.
Oh. It's hard to eat just watching you.
I think I'm gonna throw up.
Okay.
You sure you don't want to taste this? This is ridiculous.
I'm so good. I prefer that dry end over
there.
Okay,
so if I let it dry a little bit longer,
that's too wet for me.
I'm gonna continue eating this just to not be disgusting.
I know you put it my way, but I definitely don't want that.
If I let this dry for another 2 weeks, this is gonna actually be kind of delicious.
Oh, absolutely.
I can see white wine. I can see some honeydew melon. It's very showy.
Oh yeah, this is definitely going to stand out on a platter. If you bring this to the party, people are going to see that platter and be like, whoa, hello, what is that?
It's really a progressive salami. At 30%, you can take it out and start eating on it, and it's totally up to you.
Definitely up to you. If you preferred a little more moist, then you would, maybe pull it around 33, 35. But if you like it a little more on the dry end, anywhere from 38 to 45, really.
That's it. Okay, guys, let me know what you think if you make this. We're gonna go ahead and pop this back in the drying chamber.
And don't forget, leave me a comment in the comment section below and let me know whether or not you want to see the entire process for the other salamis or just our reactions of us eating the end product. And thanks a lot for sticking around to the end of this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, stick around, subscribe, click that notification bell, check out some of our other videos. And don't forget to share. We'll see you in the next one.